Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. Have you ever judged someone and later realized you only knew a fragment of their story? Tonight on Update X24H, one quiet father steps onto a stage, not to accuse, not to cry, but to reveal a truth about his son-in-law that no headline has ever captured. For months, the internet called Yulong a bad husband, a cold star, a man who cared more about his dramas than his own wife. But in a single carefully chosen moment, young Mei Mei's father decides he will no longer stay silent. What he reveals is not a scandal. It is something far more powerful and far more uncomfortable for all of us. We were wrong about who the villain really was. Stay with me, because by the end of this story you may not just see Yulong differently. You may look at your own way of judging people with new eyes. The press room was modest, but the atmosphere was thick enough to cut through. No brand logos, no glamorous backdrop, just a plain wall, a row of cameras, and an older man walking quietly towards a lonely podium. This was Mr. Yang, father of actress young Mei Mei. Most viewers had only ever seen his name mentioned in passing, a footnote in gossip articles. He was the kind of father who stayed off social media, who let his daughter shine while he watched from the shade. But today was different. For months, news outlets recycled the same headlines. Cold husband neglects fragile wife. Comment sections turned into courtrooms. People who had never met Yulong felt certain they knew his heart. Psychologists call this the illusion of knowledge, when constant exposure to a public figure makes us believe we truly understand them, even without real contact. Mr. Yang adjusted the microphone slowly. The reporters expected anger, tears, perhaps a dramatic denouncement. Instead, his first words were measured. "I am not here as a spokesman," he said. "I am here as a father." And with that single sentence it was clear. This was not going to be another shallow press conference. Everyone in that room thought they knew how the story would go. They had seen this script before. A family member finally snapping, confirming the worst suspicions, feeding the outrage machine. Instead, Mr. Yang chose a different path. He began by acknowledging the rumors, not dodging them. Yes, he had read the comments calling Yulong irresponsible, unfaithful, distant. Yes, he had seen clips taken out of context, edited to look colder than reality. Media researchers often remind us that negative stories spread faster than positive ones. Anger and scandal generate more clicks than nuance ever will. It is called negativity bias, and the entertainment press relies on it. Then Mr. Yang asked a quiet question. When you watch a drama, do you punish the actor for the sins of his character? He let the silence stretch. He explained that many of Yulong's most famous roles were morally gray, even cruel at times. The public had begun to fuse man and character into one. In psychology, this confusion is linked to parasocial relationships. One-sided bonds viewers form with on-screen figures, blurring fiction and reality. "You judged him as if he never left the set," Mr. Yang said gently. "But I have seen him far away from the cameras." And that was when the real story began. Mr. Yang did not shout. He did not plead. He simply opened a door that had, until now, been firmly closed to the public, the private life of his family. He spoke of Mei Mei's health struggles, of quiet hospital corridors and sleepless nights. Doctors often say that stress and online harassment can worsen existing conditions. And for actors, who live under constant scrutiny, that pressure can be intense. Studies on cyberbullying show higher rates of anxiety and insomnia among those repeatedly targeted by online hate. During those months, Yulong was filming long days, sometimes close to 20 hours on set. Yet, when he returned home, he did not collapse into bed alone. Mr. Yang described how his son-in-law would gently lift Mei Mei into the car when she was too weak to stand, how he insisted on attending every major appointment, asking doctors careful questions, taking notes on his phone. There was no assistant live streaming these moments. No glossy couple vlog. Just a man, a woman, and a father watching from the doorway, quietly measuring character not by public statements, but by small, consistent acts of care. "You call him cold," Mr. Yang said softly. "I have seen him hold her when she had no strength left to stand." Rumors are not just stories, they are storms. And in the age of social media, storms travel fast. Mr. Yang shared how Mei Mei would hesitate before opening her phone, fingers trembling over the screen. Research on digital harassment shows that repeated exposure to hateful comments can trigger physical symptoms: racing heart, dizziness, even nausea. It was no different for her. She began sleeping less, eating less, smiling less. The role she once loved became harder to embrace when every appearance in public risked a new wave of attacks. Yulong, meanwhile, was trapped in a different kind of cage. If he responded too harshly, he would be labeled aggressive. If he stayed silent, people said his silence was proof of guilt. Many public figures face this double bind. Psychologists call it a no-win perception trap. In one private conversation, which Mr. Yang revealed for the first time, Yulong had offered to step away from the marriage publicly. "If my name is destroying her peace," he had said, "I would rather be the villain in the story than the reason she breaks." This was not weakness. It was the terrifying courage of someone willing to choose pain for himself, rather than see it land on the person he loves. What stunned many viewers watching from home was not just the defense of Yulong's character, but the revelation of something else. A quiet initiative he had started long before any scandal. Mr. Yang spoke of a small rented room above a cafe, far from studio lights. Once a week, a group gathered there: assistant directors, makeup artists, junior actors, even a sound technician or two. They came not to network but to breathe. Experts in mental health have been warning for years about burnout in the entertainment industry. Long hours, unstable income, and public judgment create what some researchers call chronic visibility stress. Always being seen, rarely being known. In that upstairs room there were no cameras, no brand sponsors. Just tea, folding chairs, and a simple rule. You could talk without being recorded, and you could cry without being quoted. Yulong funded the room, the refreshments, and a visiting counselor who came twice a month. He never attached his name publicly. It was Mei Mei who first told her father about it after attending one session and coming home with eyes red, but shoulders lighter. "For the first time," she whispered to him, "I don't feel crazy for being exhausted." Mr. Yang realized then. His son-in-law was not just protecting one person. He was quietly holding space for many. When Mr. Yang reached the end of his statement, he did not ask the world to crown Yulong a saint. Instead, he made a simple, powerful request. Look twice before you judge once. Media literacy experts often encourage audiences to question what they see. Who benefits from this headline? What is missing from this clip? Is this a full picture, or a frame chosen to provoke emotion? For viewers in Seoul, Tokyo, Paris, London, Toronto, and beyond, Mr. Yang's words felt strangely familiar. Many had lived long enough to know what it means to be misjudged themselves. He announced that, as a family, they would help formalize and expand that little support project above the cafe. They were giving it a name: Second Look. A small gesture in a noisy world, but a meaningful one. Then he said the line that stayed with people long after the screens went dark. Yulong is not family because he married my daughter. He is family because again and again when the storm came, he chose to stand in front of her, not behind her. In the end, the shocking truth was not scandal, but something much rarer. A reminder that real love is often quiet, and real character is most visible when no one is watching. If this story made you pause, if it reminded you of someone in your own life who has been judged unfairly, or someone who loved you quietly without asking for applause, take a moment tonight to give them a second look. And if you would like more thoughtful stories like this, stories that do not just chase drama, but try to understand the humans behind it, you are warmly invited to stay with us here on Update X24H. Backhand index pointing right. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so you do not miss our next episode. And if this video touched you, feel free to share it with someone who needs a little hope today. Thank you sincerely for spending your time with us. This is Update X24H, and we will see you in the next story.